From New Englandville studio, good morning and welcome to the second edition of the program Good Morning Salon for this week, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Today, na Tuesday, August 11, 2020. We will bring you this Tuesday edition of the program Good Morning Salon. Musa Kamara na minim.
And Mina Mebel Kaba, good morning. Inside this Tuesday edition of the program Good Morning Salon, as today, August 11, Pikin them go begin take the West African Senior Secondary Certificate exam way in hours. The communication specialist now the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Fode Ibrahim Sherif say, then go cancel the results of any school picking where then go catch my exam malpractice. The general manager na the National Tourist Board, Fatmata Kuruma, don't say na employer them we get tourist we been get tourist board and staff list go benefit from the social safety fund support where the Ministry of Finance they give as support for the COVID-19 to the tourism sector. And at the program this morning, the Secretary General for the Salon Football Association, SLAFA, Chris Kamara, they can talk about the new people where SLAFA don't pick for big coach and official them na different football national team them. Also them pick John Kister back as the head coach for Leon Stars.
Members say they listen we live on the internet on www.radiodemocracy.sl, courtesy of Osiwa and powered by AfriCell. And same way so they listen we live from Radio Shalom 89.5 Nakwena Dugu, Radio Malen 88.5 and Radio 1J 101.1 na Pujon District, Radio Kolente 90.5 Cambia District, Radio Moa 105.5 na Kailaon District, and Voice of Karene 98.0 na Kamakwe. The program na Good Morning Salon. You can be part of by we can send text message to the number 0779819881. 0779819881 are the number for send a text message and be part of the program Good Morning Salon. As you get from we headline today, we will look at the Pickway SLFA don't pick different coaches and officials for different national teams them. Well, for can help we discuss this issue inside the program we did with the Secretary General for the Salon Football Association, Chris Kamara. Good morning, welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Yeah, good morning, Salon, and good morning to Sierra Leoneans.
Okay, continue for the with you. They come back to you inside the program Good Morning Salon.
The first issue we look at in the program this morning, now Osai, the country director for social enterprise development, and Joseph Ayanga don't say for make women then get more seats in parliament and hold other position then na the country for the 2023 election. They don't begin support women them for go college and university and get other training them we go make them able for compete with man them na the governance system. He talk this inside one meeting where he been gets with the Eastern Women in Governance. Outside the network go talk about then success and challenge them and self how them plan for empower women them na the Eastern region. Mange Mansari gets more and go reports.
Plenty organization them na the country don't they fetch for women them forget governance position them like councillor, member of parliament, minister and other position them. One pandemic organization there na the social enterprise development send. Don't they give empowerment to women them for making them able for take part in the governance system na the country. Send. Don't they give support through them different projects them where then don't they get. One pan the projects them where send don't they work on women them. Now the modern woman project where na project where they give strength to women them na the political governance system. The Eastern Women in Governance na group where don't they benefit from different kind projects them. The Eastern Women in Governance don't go review them projects them and how them for carry on with the different projects them where then don't they get from send. Lucy Gondor, now the president for the Eastern Women in Governance, begin for chalkboards but the Modern Women Project.
We get women that way come on all the way Kailan districts. They don't come on Kenema district. We all don't join the other women groups and na Kono when the Kono Women in Governance Network because we want to give reports on the projects where send being win with Irish Aid, the More Than a Woman project. When a project where they strengthen the participation and representation of women then inside political governance. We don't already do the first phase of the project. And inside the first phase of the project, we get a lot of activities or Women they don't say because of their activities themselves don't show interest for their inside the network.
Lucy Gondo continues say the lesson where dem don learn from the past year them, women them, not agree for support dem company woman them. Anytime where dem company woman them to map for position them.
Strong lesson wey we don learn. People dem can always say woman dem no like themselves, but because of the past activity, because of the network wey dey mobilize woman dem, even community woman dem, woman dem from all races, because the network no dey look at politics, e no dey look at religion, the network no dey look at tribe, we just dey look focus on womanhood. So this don make woman dem don get one word, and you know say woman dem na mama dem. Who say you mama dey? If you talk to you pikin, who say you dey? You pikin go. To go able compete with the man dem, because we don already get some man dem wey dey support the woman dem. He for she, then they support woman dem because dem don see goodness inside woman dem.
The country director for social enterprise development, SEND, Joseph Ayanga, say then they train women dem now for make them able for all leadership position them.
We dey also train them on leadership, start now for prepare them so that they go gain all the skills where they're supposed to get. We dey also do what we call political education. We dey train them on the political parties, then constitutions then. We dey also train them how they go able network. We dey train them how they go able for be members of the political parties from now onwards. We dey also train them how they go able begin for engage the political parties now so that when election time come, nobody go talk say we don't sabi you. But from the start, where political activities they go on, then they contribute to the political processes in the district.
But plenty time where political party them kiwangi symbol, then ki say woman them not qualify for them position then they make the country director for SEND, Joseph Ayanga, say then they make woman them go na different institutions them for make them get the education where go make them able they na governance position then.
When the time come where they want contest, nobody go able to tell them say we are not qualified. We also encourage them, make them go back to school for go learn. If you go see Kenema, Kaila and Kono, Boko of the woman they don't go back to polytechnic, then go back to university for go learn, for empower themselves. One of the lessons we learn in the last election, they say the woman they don't get a degree, they don't get this. So now I make we tell them say go back and get a degree, study in whatever field where you want, we go able to empower you. So that when you come, nobody go point finger say you know go to school, yeah. But we also know say woman that then get sent, they able to do of the work with man then they do. So we do boku things there, and we also try as much as possible for expose them to different districts. Therefore, go to other districts, then learn what other women then they do. Once you expose them to different things.
After them don't review the Modern Woman Project, the woman leader them na Kono and Kenema districts end up call on government and other political party them for they give them symbol to woman them so that woman then go able for them at the governance system at the country. For Radio Democracy, Mange Mansaye, the report.
The program you listen to na Good Morning Saloon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. As we tell you earlier, we get Chris Kamara, the Secretary General for the Saloon Football Association. They therefore talk about the coaches and officials where the Saloon Football Association don't pick for the different national team them. Once again, Chris, good morning and welcome to the program. Okay, as people we all know, the Saloon Football Association are then they in charge for run football as affiliated body to FIFA, where they represent Saloon Nada organization day, and then get the mandate for run football. We make the executive committee yesterday don't approve 48 coaches and officials them where this approval now based on the recommendation of the technical committee. Well, for can talk about these 48 coaches and officials them we the Saloon Football Association don't appoint to different national teams them we include national under 15 boys, national female team, national under 20 female team, and also Leon Stars, and also under 23 home-based team. Chris Kamara there for talk about the appointment there. So Chris, as I tell listeners, you there for talk on the appointment there. So what trigger the appointment them 48 for the very first time?
Thank you very much. And I think once also thanks to the leadership of the Football Association. This, yes, waiting trigger the appointment here stems from the fact, say, in last year, December, the Sierra Leone Football Association we get a strategy session with the stakeholders, a representation of the members of the FA and the leadership, NABO, Dohas Hotel, where they begin for set a 5-year plan of football development from administrative strategy, technical strategy, marketing and communications. So in rolling out these decisions of the executive committee, we don't start for rollout one after the other, and now we don't get to the technical elements of it. We get a technical strategy, and also we need to get personnel. As you rightly say, not ever happened before. Previously, with the other administrations, they do, and they wait for competition, maybe say 2 or 3 weeks before the competition, and they at the point a technical team to manage for that specific competition. Once they done, then dissolve them. But waiting this executive decide for do, forget personnel to them where they get the responsibility for manage then different categories here. Whether there is competition, whether there is no competition, for a period of about 3 years, we're subject to renewal. Then from that strategy day, we get to call a pattern of play. We get a formation. Salone for the first time for begin get a system of play. Where the under 15, if now one model and they play with, for example, if now 5-3-2, they know Salone for play. From under 15 to the national team. Not like it previous before. You go see under 15 they play one system, under 21 system, under 23. So the player during in development stage go don't play 5 or 6 different systems. You go find it difficult when they get to the national team. In club where they play back, they play a different system. We don't see successive countries them. Why then they succeed in the teams them going competitions, and it's because they get a model of play. So that's not the reason why we decide for say, as the executive decides say, in getting to develop a technical strategy, one is the personnel. And the personnel in hiring of coaches from under 15 to the national, senior national team, all categories, they get forget personnel them. And then give them the TUR, give them the job tax, and for example, as you heard from the minister yesterday, give them a performance contract. That's not the reason why we decide to do that.
So also value this decision they bring come into football business for Salone?
It gets enormous value. One amongst it now that one, you don't give jobs to about 48 Sierra Leoneans. These are people who this administration don't train from D or C license to A license. And severally, some of them don't they. Some we don't coach the national team. They are veterans now. And they get the experience for come back again and serve as technical advisors to the current administrators at that technical level. So one, you provide employment. Secondly, you also give what they call capacity building, development of the game of these players. Because I can tell you, maybe more often than not, what you don't see previously, is that they see the graduation model, like where you go take from school. You're speaking get a standard system of education from primary, secondary to tertiary and at the university level. That's the same thing for football. You find an example just to give few examples. If you look at the Messis and others today, then go through an academy system, then go through a perfect training gradation model. So then go to different coaches, but with the same model. But then they play. They play the under 17, even though they play under, for example, they play under Mabel, but the system no they change. They come under 20, they play under Musa, the system no they change till they get to Kista at the top.
So look, we can look at these appointments and the coaches proper. You talk about 5 years plan we the enroll, and this now part of them. Now we look at the other side of this 5 years plan we the enroll and other things that we do inside this plan.
Thank you very much. I talk about the administrative structure. You see, say, Unobi gets, though the physical structure be there, but successive administration, them, the office system, we don't be dilapidated and everything. So then decide for, say, we for renovate them. We'll get a state-of-the-art office today. And because of the COVID-19, that office today for don't be one of the best federations you can think about within Africa. We don't hand them over to the government. And I think, say, NACOVAC and EUC will tell you, say, we give them a very outstanding facility with water, with electricity, even without NPA. So I think a value around $812,000 if I spend for renovate them. And also the hiring of personnel. You see, say most of all the departments we require in football today, people have been hired for motivation of personnel. You do realize, say, today the SLFA don't get vehicles on their own. The SLFA gets a brand jersey. The SLFA, a lot of branding, they take place now the FA, and also the changing the perception of the federation. We go match any other federation within Africa. So these are some of the decisions where the executive take, a strategic decision, a short, medium, and long term.
Chris, this executive now, August 3rd make them 7 years now office.
Yes.
Now you talk about the reforms here. So somebody go say it could not be late for football because it's same the development. But why it takes so long?
Well, I think say the wranglings, the internal infighting. You get the leadership of the FA almost 2 years being set aside. You get infighting. First we get this executive coming to power, we had Ebola. That's not an excuse. But when we get Ebola, even playing football activities be stopped in the country. But you see the executive no relent. Countries do not get Ebola. We still the good to go play in them countries then they. In very strenuous moments then. Like in 2014, 2015, Salon they play all the international matches outside Sierra Leone. That notwithstanding, I tell you, say when there is peace and stability, you can able work in a very conducive environment. And I think what really challenge is that this executive don't go through series of stops and starts. But within these last 6 months, when there is a semblance of sanity, you see a lot of projects being rolled out by this executive. And I think this now also the guide within FIFA gets every year, member associations of FIFA, they sign what they call a contract of agreed objectives. That is a defined pool. And they ask you to get a strategy, an administrative, a technical, a media and marketing strategy. So that at least they see a semblance of what is happening in the UK, a semblance of what is happening in Brazil, it's happening in Nigeria and South Africa, it's also happening in Sierra Leone. So yes, you can say it go too late, but this is the moment now because there is sanity, there is quietness and calmness. The FA don't get the opportunity now for also the rollout and things here.
So in terms of the branding we see currently they take place under our administration, in terms of finances, how strong is the FA?
I can say the SLFA, well, waiting the wranglings, the opportunity with the infighting is that the FA not be to utilize them funds na FIFA. So because FIFA refused to release them funds them, especially on the set aside. So that give the opportunity to the FA for get some huge funds in FIFA. I can give you an example. For the first time, the SLFA start for pay all regional secretaries. They've all been hired and they have been paid. All the 5 regions in the country secretaries are now being paid. For the first time, the SLFA they pay rental for all the regional football associations. For the first time, the FA don't disburse $10,000 each to each district football association for either acquire land, rent an office space, or develop the facilities them. That project is ongoing. So you see say all the projects are now being rolled out because I tell you, repeat again, there is sanity, semblance of sanity, and then you see everybody they get a feel. We don't get 2 successive congresses in Putloko and in Kenema. If not so for COVID, we could have held the elections and now maybe we'll get a new executive in the SLFA. So you see that notwithstanding, we also follow, as I repeat, the contract of agreed objectives so signed with FIFA, where the states waiting the executive one for do. And once it is being approved, then funds FIFA they provide what they call the financial assistance program, and today the FIFA Forward, and also development project. And for also the first time, you see that the FA, the can put up a $2 million state-of-the-art female football academy. So these are all the projects. Now there is an artificial turf in Kenema. That notwithstanding, we don't decide for look for 3 other possible opportunities them across the country. And in remote areas, it go interesting for us. One of the key areas where the FA now think of developing football is across the water. That is in Bonth. Let Bonth feel, say they are part of Sierra Leone and also start to play football.
The FA, the program that we don't call, somebody go say the FA very active this lately, and you don't give reason say because wrangling been there. Somebody or the one critic against the FA now that then they use this for buy time for or because Congress they come. This is not one criticism against the FA.
Well, I think say for me as an administrator, I disagree because me not get an elective position. Me not employ me as the chief executive. And they tell you say this is what the board has agreed, be it elections or not. This is now waiting the board don't agree, and then it's been sent to FIFA and CAF. It's been approved. So we should be seen, whether elections or not, we should be seen as a functional FA for rollout then strategy here. I'll give you an example. So you ask a lot, we wait until we get elections before we begin roll out them programs here. They're not going to take we serious. The funders will not fund us. But anybody, if there's elections today, for example, Musa, you win, you already meet a plan, a 5-year plan. You can review the plan, and you can even decide, say, okay, let's modify the plan. But we can scrap that plan there. Because already it's a plan on football development for a certain period. And that is what progressive organizations think.
So what's in this plan regarding a call for Congress?
But I think, say, the call for Congress, there has not been any change on that. The stop will get a ban. There is a ban on sporting activities in the country, a blackhead ban. If we don't get the elections in April, had it not been for COVID, we could have gone past that and then focus on development. So, but that notwithstanding, despite we get this hold.
Yeah, because now that's our ask the whole day, but planning for don't they happen. So if they ban then lift and let me say in case then just lift them, waiting now the prepared plan as to una planning for say we want for all Congress, let we get a change of executive.
I think the most important thing that we've done as an FA is just like the religious bodies then do. We don't write a position paper to government. We don't send it to the minister. And I think the minister yesterday in the press conference mentioned and say they don't take an at the office of the president and they expect a positive result by the coming 2 weeks. I think yesterday Musa, you read the minister in the press conference and make them very clear.
So if the ban lifts, are ready for go to Congress?
Any given point, in fact, that's a mandate of FIFA. It's part of the FIFA roadmap. So as I always tell you, it is not something that is being delayed or anything. It could have happened in April, and now today we talk of something different. Right. But as I say, despite COVID, despite us giving our offices out to the work from homes, yet still, the FA continue to be very functional and continue with them projects there.
All right, Chris Kamara, continue for the between at the studio, Secretary General for the Salon Football Association. Earlier this morning, they tell me about new appointments and where they don't make na football business and different categories. Them and selfie, they tell about rebranding where you see the current executive they undertake na the FA. The program Good Morning Salon they continue. We look at more issues.
As government they give support to sector them for get rank back to the different work them would be to do before COVID-19. The general manager at the National Tourist Board, Fatmata Kruma, don't say the social safety fund support we then get from the Ministry of Finance. Now for all workmen them we the work na different tourist establishments them na the country. But say that the employer them we submit will command them data go benefit from this support. Fatmata Kruma explained more to Saptiu Kalon inside this interview.
Well, of course, the social safety network support support where the government of Sierra Leone they give. Of course, the Ministry of Finance, where we all know say and the day before money business, and of course, together with the Ministry of Tourism and of course. Sovereign agency, the National Tourist Board, okay, they put all of this together for always support employees the one way affected as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. So like talking about employees, like almost of workman them, so we be in the tourism sector, like almost so we then be laid down of that particular team day.
Well, I'm not going to give you figure now, because I don't have the figure of it, because it varies. Some hotel, and especially the major hotel, like Radisson, Bintumani, place like the Place Resorts, Eden Park. These are just few where there is a total lockdown. You get some other hotel there where na 50-50. They lay off some of the staff there and just get a skeleton staff where they go just normal for keep the facilities up and running, but not to like say they get anybody way steady.
So in terms of that explanation, the one way they lay down and the one way they work now but they receive better salary. Now them in that category they get for benefit from the social safety fund support.
Okay, the one that we go benefit, it's supposed to be in the all, but how we do them, we be asked them for let them submit then data. The term we don't start this process over 4 months or so ago. where we call them and write to them, and we're also together with the Hotel Association, National Hotel Association, and also the Federation, the Tourism Federation. We all work together for get people for submit the details of the employee. Not all them, we all been do that.
Okay.
In fact, and all done they derail this process. When they talk to hey, from all the government may say this, that, and that, will not be don't get all the data.
So what up to the stage now? They all don't submit?
No, they all not submit. We cannot continue waiting. So the one they eventually will submit, will realize so will get appreciable and they will submit, and they will benefit.
So in line with the hotel, we don't submit name of workman them and also them salary payments. Like almost so we will talk about. Almost hotel we don't do them full submission of waiting when I be asking for.
I want for belief say, because you know I talk to you and I don't get the figures then out, but I know say we get over like quite about over 500 or so people we comply, we submit them details. So now them.
So the workman then are then submitting details.
No, not to the workman they submit to the right to the establishment.
Okay.
That we write to for let them send to we almost workman then gets there, okay, and all of the details there. But as you know, this is not support. We just they do a support to them. Not to them full salary package with the come Gio law make them very clear.
So in terms of that supporting, almost % of the salary then so.
Well, I'm not going to say what we try for do, we just take the minimal wage, salary wage. Okay, that is what we took now quarter. Because even some themselves will submit, not to all man able for they're not even state almost that they pay their staff. Out of that number, they say now just about 50 institutions where actually submit the names there of the staff there and waiting and they pay them. So, you know, I mean, kind of, not to all submit. But anyway, the way the Ministry of Finance analyze it, you just work out and just get, then just take from the basic when they meet.
We get different tourism establishments, we get hotel, casino, guest house, and other one for this support of the recovery support, where they under the social safety net. Like now, whose category of the different tourism establishments, so we really get for benefit from this?
The category, as long as you will submit your detail. If you now within the restaurant sector, if you're within the hotel sector, if you're within the casinos then, if you're within the beach bar there, if you're within the travel agencies there, once you will submit, now the one that we submit. Because what you do, it covers all categories, but we only they deal with the one that we submit. We ask Kuna for submit, the one that we comply, we submit, even where they submit, where the term the deadline don't pass, we still extend. Now that make the process belong so.
So the extension they up to this term for submission?
No, we don't do. They don't do the analysis. Now what would they wait? So like now for the president just launch this thing, where president launch and then we start for pay.
So for the tourism sector, in terms of this social safety net from the Ministry of Finance as way for support on our sector in terms of the recovery stage, almost not the money so where the tourism sector get for receive? Well,
I will left down there now where my big boss is there, His Excellency, it's a way where the launcher go make a statement, and then I nothing say for jump and begin give figure before me boss. The minister back there, the Minister of Finance there, of course when I go there that day and when I go here. But I just want follow when I know say everything don't be put together, and by the grace of God, that as soon as we get the clearance from His Excellency, it will be launched, and then we go start for pay only to those people that submitted.
So in line with the one them we submit, this also extends to people and we get tourism establishment in the provinces?
Yeah, they're countrywide. It's a countrywide. All over the country, as long as you submit. All over, it's a countrywide. The call was a national call to everybody.
For the tourism sector up for receive this support of the money with the Ministry of Finance get for as way for help different workmen and the different tourism establishment them.
Well, as I say, as soon as President launcher, definitely I'm sure Ministry of Finance now don't put all things together now for just pay them to the ministry for where we kickstarts for pay people there as government support.
General Manager na National Tourist Board, Fatmata Kuruma, been talk to Sapti Kalo inside that interview. The program is still listening to in a Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Democracy 98.1 FM. We go for a short break. We can continue the program. Good Morning Salon.
Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody like you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office like you not get the account number. Buy Ed-Salite, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for the boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all you supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store, or go on Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
Patiently she's walking down the road. What are they running?
Honey, what you go do now for this pikin so? Usa go care and go. Because Mr. Musa don't police speaking for week pata.
Just no worry about that. Now that make the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs don't set up the one-stop center. This center na side where you go, where they don't rape you, where you go get all the service them, where you forget. And if you're not able to reach there, you can call na 116 line from any mobile network where you get.
Me na Honorable Manti Tarawali, me na the Minister for Gender and Children's Affairs. The Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs, na get a mandate for tap rate. Now for that reason they make, we don't put the 116 hotline. That line they open 24 hours and it's free from all mobile network. Anybody experience rape or any sexual violence, call 116 immediately.
So now, as they rape you or they rape you pikin, take a 110 at the one-stop center. We get office then at Putloko, Koinadugu, Kailaun, Pujeun, Moyamba, and Western area.
Now the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs bring this message to you.
That's why I listen to my senses.
2 minutes after 8 at the time from the studio clock, and the program is still listening to on our Good Morning Salon. We still get Chris Kamara at the studio, where na the General Secretary na the Salon Football Association. Slafa idea this morning they tell you about change them where they happen now na Slafa under the executive, and as well we can't talk now about the appointments them we then do. Also we already announced different people for whole different position them from football business at the country. Now let's look at the decision of deciding who that gets this position and who that gets that position. How una reach to Dande in terms of the procedures them we una follow for reach at a certain name of an individuals. We una don't pick for say them for then different position in the una giso. How una reach there?
Thank you very much. I still maintain say if you look at in part of with strategic plan and contract of agreed objectives, we get a technical plan. And in the technical plan, we get a technical director, a really vast, experienced, highly certified former coach of the country. And in the person of Jebo Sherrington, you don't get something about 30 years. And it's an A license and also an instructor as the technical director. The technical director gets a pool of all in former students them, when I coaches them, which today they are all certified coaches to the highest level of A license. And I'm very proud for Toxie again. Sierra Leone are among the very few countries then we get up to 27 A licensed coaches. Today, under this leadership, we talk about certified coaches. You not be there before. Now, if you not get certificates, you know the coach. All these ones that have been appointed, these are people that we don't go through the gradation model from C to B and now A CAF license. So on that, the technical director and his technical units put up a request because let's just give us brief history. You know, say we will get Coach Celeste Tiavi, the former coach of Leon Stars, we now a World Cup winner, be resigned from his job. And once in his job, when he be there, Coach John Kista, now being assistant one, Amidu Karim two.
Unless after the removal of Musa Kalon.
Yes,
John
Kista
Kista
come
not been there
after
yes,
Musa.
John
because,
Kista not been there at the first selection.
Yes, because Musa, the responsibility given to the head coach was to choose his backroom staff. And initially he choose Musa Kalon because he can second in the interview.
Okay.
So, but because of Musa Kalon indiscipline, he was fired from the national team. Then John Kista was immediately replaced. So Kista came as an assistant. And then you get Amidou Karim, you get Tamba Moses, Prince, and then you get the rest of the technical staff. That said, when he resigned with the entire bulk. So the entire national team be vacant. There were no employees, no be there. Only that you get Kista as the assistant, be standing as acting in that capacity.
Okay.
And because of that, and again, I want to say thanks to His Excellency the President, the Chief Minister, and the entire leadership of this government.
Why?
For putting together the National Sports Authority. They don't give me a very workable authority today, because with my own sound background in sports administration and management, most countries where they do well, not they do well because of the sports ministry, they do well because they have a professional body, where now the National Sports Authority, in some countries in the National Sports Council. With that sports authority now having all its autonomy and then its right to supervise, regulate the sporting associations, and also get the mandate for also lobby on funds, we get a very good working relationship. We meet on several occasions, and then we share with strategic plan with them and everything. And one amongst them, with a part of their own self, the national sport policy, is the recommendation of the hiring of coaches for associations.
Yes.
So on that, because, and also want to thank the government for making a huge amount of payment. Coach Selas Tete, when
With
he
the
resigned,
count to the salary,
not the salary I want for Musa Wale, just get this one they say, not the salary I talk about. When Coach Selas resigned, he was paid $32,000 by the government.
Okay.
So you see, say he was very proud for go back and pay him a full amount. Okay. And I not care for mention for the local coaches that not go talk what they get, but they all get very, very enviable pay. Because I know I made them get pressure again from the public. They don't get the money 4 or 5 months ago. So just want to thank the government for that also. Okay. That is the reason why you see that transition therefore take place. So for fill that vacancy, then the executive committee, they go for give the mandate to the technical committee on the request of the technical director. The technical director send the request to me take it to the executive committee. The committee now give the mandate to the technical committee for seats, for let them look into that. And then when the committee sits, me they serve as secretary to the committee. The technical director, as I say, gets a pool of coaches based on the CVs, the performance in previous leagues, in the current league, and they make, and also the services to national team. So on this, the committee sits, critically look at each individual, and then determine whose category. Once they do that, the chairman of the technical committee, now the vice president one, Mr. Brema Manzola. So when this committee don't meet, we take the recommendations of that committee to the executive committee, because as you mentioned, that they only get the power for appoint coaches. And then they look at them rigorously, and then at the end of the day, it was agreed and approved by the executive committee that these individuals are the ones capable for carry out the job for this moment.
Okay, them capable for carry out the job at the moment. Now we look at the one them we get clubs among the coaches there. So where John Kista are one of them, and he's still a coach for Eastern Lions Football Club. And we get Victoria Conte, we na coach for the under-20 female football team in the coach Eastern Tigers Football Club. And most of them, they work na clubs them. What's in the happen within them contract them? Now then clubs them, now the Premier League and other divisions then.
I tell you again, say, I still go back to technical strategy. More often than not, for several occasions, Sierra Leoneans on the raise this concern. For the past 10, 15 years, people will say, once you bring in, for example, Mabel, for coach the national female team, they go take all in players in 9 club, they count them for can play the national team. This has been a cry. This has been a lot of argument, whether justified or not. What in the federation do this time around is again, as I say, begin set conditions. So these coaches you just mentioned, it was also made very clear. We don't begin start for talk with them. It is made very clear, and on the press conference yesterday, they'll make them very clear. All head coaches of the various national teams, once they sign their contract with the SLFA, cease for serve club football.
But that's not just thing we wanna talk. But how una they ensure say the existing contracts them within football clubs and they terminate them?
Well, that's exactly what they say. Now they're not signing contract yet. We don't do the announcement. We serve them the letters them this week. Then they get for right way back, giving them consent, their approval. Say the acceptance of the appointment. Because what we've done yesterday first, not just the press release, they were informed and everything. Now we get for inform them formally in writing, give them letters of appointment, and the conditions on the letter of appointment is very clear.
So why in the first place, as soon as on our technical coach been done tell us and then people here in the resolve that, why in the first place una not been take that up so that una will get away with termination of the existing contract before una reach to this stage of giving them the contract where they already get an existing contract?
Well, I can tell you, say they've not been given contract yet. I think what we've done is in football.
Then get existing contracts with football club. For example, John Kista, where they can be head coach for the national team. He get existing contracts with other club. Why una not been done make sure say he don't terminate that contract before una even they get them at the list forget be head coach for the youngsters?
Well, you just cannot ask him to resign without getting the job yet. That's the most important thing. The executive committee, I repeat, now get the mandate. So once they don't do their approval, then they go announce and they give back to the secretariat. Me, the general secretary, have a responsibility for do the administrative work. So as I say, the letters of appointment, they reach them this week. And also they therefore give them consent in writing back, accepting new positions. And the contract or the letter of appointment, it is clearly spelled out, all head coaches of the national teams. And one thing I think few of them take interviews yesterday and make them clearly say they are more than willing because they also give them the opportunity for let them be neutral, let them concentrate on national service rather than concentrate on club football.
So let me take you back to the issue of John Kista. You make mention of the Ghanaian coach where them be higher. John Kista been there among the coaches we apply for the job initially. But when the list of people them way una shortlist say now them pass the exam and qualified, John Kista been there not been shortlisted among the one that we for take the job. We see John Kista been there aside. When Coach Silas Tete resigned, we see John Kista come as acting. Somebody go say if una don't pull a result, say this person no they in this position or how comes now it can't be the head coach of the team? Whose yardstick can I use to arrive at that conclusion? When initially the exam have been concluded and make a short list of people and not been there among the first 4 or 5 who for take the job.
Thank you, Musa. I think let's talk small administration here as a lecturer. In human resource management, there are 3 processes of recruitment. You get the application, you get the job interview, you get the appointment stage. Kista applied. He went through the interview, and when the results of the interview came out, he was not at the top. There were other coaches who were at the top. So when they get the job, then get to the best, which was Silas Tete Tiavi, and then get the responsibility for choosing backroom staff. What do? He chose the person who can second and third. So once Kista, where they at the level of 4th, once they sack Musa, then Kista is just the 4th person at the cadre.
So as management students, I can always tell you, say, we get what we call application on file. If 5 people don't apply for a job, 2 don't get, the one way can third, you can always keep that record of that person there. If this person don't left, you just can go to the file again and look at that way and be doing at the first.
That's basically what I'm telling you. I say, we want to go at the application level again. That's done and dusted. The next stage, which is the interview stage, is done and dusted. Okay? Now already, you get the candidates. They are no longer applicants, they are candidates. You get the candidates. And from the candidates, you get the job to one of the best. And so Sellers has the job. When Sellers get the job, he choose Musa and Amidou for being assistants then. So more or less, John was in club football. But once they sack, and mind you again, Coach Sellers Tete in the first outing with the FA national team, Kista was his immediate assistant. So on that basis, he gets a word again with Kista. And because now him get the responsibility for choosing back home staff, then he make the recommendation again to the technical department and the committee, approved again by the executive committee. That was how Kista came back to the national team.
So Chris, continue for the with you. They look at the opportunity we go make available to them coaches for make them able to do them work as the minister yesterday been the call on them for make them go able to perform. But we all know say sports suspended for now, and we get plenty competitions them ahead before December. And one of them the national team get for prepare for Nations Cup where CAF go call anytime we make known to we it. The program na Good Morning Saloon, where they come to you from 98.1 FM.
Better don't come, better don't come. Now Union Trust Bank again. Union Salon Banco. Union Trust Bank get plenty product and service there for you. You must get what you want to go better you. Like we savings account, ide. Current account, ide. Fixed deposit account, ide. Credit facility, ide. All for you. Me and you. Me and you. Union Trust Bank, that's a loan for me and you. Kids future savings account, ide. School fee savings account, ide. Pay advance salary scheme, ide. We branch and they all up at Nasalon. Boko no kenema, we de. Kabala mabogo kakambia, we de. Jala Freetown Lone Star, we de. And my lengthy one. Me and you. Union Trust Bank, me and you. Union Trust Bank, Union Trust Bank, Nasalon for me and you. Union Salon Banco, Union Trust Banco.
Union Trust Bank, empowering Sierra Leonean businesses.
As way for help people the way they do small thing for survive, and then one the way they run place like cinema all for manage their life during COVID-19.
The Anti-Corruption Commission get what say people they go around a Kambulto area now Watalo they take money na people in hand, especially women them for register they forget about 1.5 to 2 million loans.
The Anti-Corruption Commission will make all man know say the money where World Bank and government of Salon they give for help people and then tell me now 1,309,000 loans.
If anybody ask you for money for register you, or if you been don't give money to anybody back, call ACC na 515 or report na the police station where they near you.
Make sure say you not give penny to anybody for register you for get money where World Bank and government of Salon give for help people them during this COVID-19 sick. This message come out from the Anti-Corruption Commission with support from World Bank.
All right, the program Good Morning Salon they continue and we look at more issues in the program. Well, today Tuesday, August 11, school picking them, they begin to take the West African Senior Secondary Certificate exam when I was, and this are the government's was. As this they be, the communication specialist now the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education for the Ibrahim Sherif don't say then go cancel the results of any school picking where they go cage by exam malpractice and safe hand over the case to the Anti-Corruption Commission for do proper investigation. Well, Princess Pias gets more on this and Guna report.
The West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination was now the final secondary school examination where students them where complete senior secondary school can take for go na any tertiary institution. When school been tapped first because of the coronavirus, plenty concern now before how the students here go take this exam. And if they go able make them through because of the kind syllabus where they get for cover. Tuesday, August 11, now the dates where the worst candidates them go begin the exam. Just 1 month after the government open school them for students them where they take public exam. But how the ministry don't plan for this exam? For the Ibrahim Sherif, now the communication specialist, now the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, he explained.
The ministry be don't start preparation since where the ministry be decide for reopen schools partially for the candidates of the 3 examinations. We don't provide effective teaching of the students and for them to take these exams. All of the examination materials are in the country right now. And that then at the cities, the WUSA examination centers, and they for let the people go use them for the exam safely. So that not to any issue. We want for let students and anybody will get something for do their exams here. For no say government very serious about examination malpractices. The students where they participate by examination malpractice when a candidate with the council in results, with the publishing name the comprehensive list of examination malpractice people in this country for the public to see. The money where government they pay for the exam, the way they sit, not they ever benefit from them, and with the further refer that case to ACC for further investigation.
But other people, the concern where they get now, like where the country they in the COVID-19 period, if you take picking them now and put them for go sit. If that's not to other way for make the sick scatter. Where this, according to for the sheriff, is say they don't ensure say the pikin them take this exam in a safe environment.
Social distancing very important. When the beginning go sit exam, they go for checking temperature first for know if in temperature they at that level we supposed for take examination among the competent. If students they will be on quarantine, which we do not know of, but just in case one day will be on quarantine, then they check in temperature. If you then they test them, matter of fact, if you test negative, then they can go to a special center for go sit. You go still sit the exam if you're able to sit, but not in order to sit among the other beginners. The face masks now a matter of must. The hand washing, of course, before they enter the class now a must. We get monitors that we get for spread out from the ministry now, so all over the country for students here they happen.
As all this they be, the member of parliament for constituency 131 we cover Aberdeen, some parts na Wilkinson Road, and some parts na Spur Road and other side them. Honorable Mohammed Sherif Rahman Koka don't go support over 700 school picking them, we for begin take the Becker and WAS exam with examination material them, we cost over 20 million euros. Usa is say this support now for support the Panem learning.
When picking the way they write the Becker and WAS examination, I do a survey around my constituency and find out see few of the day will like they complain on having examination materials them, especially the one they write the WAS examination. You know, majority of them they complain, hey, me also good for a calculator. The free quality education no go able for cover everything at the start. So I decided for coming in my constituency for support the government for providing materials there for the picking. The package where the candidates they for go home. The one day where they sit the Becker, then they go with geometry sets, to be pencil and pen. But the one day where they sit WAS, then get calculator, we will include to the other items that they with the inside the package. Almost 20 million euros, over 700 picking. We do registration.
But how them picking are prepare for this exam and how they receive the support?
I'm from the Government Secondary Technical School. Okay, as for me and my fellow colleagues, we study every day. Most of us, our parents don't have money to buy us these things. The materials, I appreciate it. I don't have calculator, but now I have it, so I'm very happy.
I'm attending the West Africa Methodist Collegiate School. It cannot be easy for us. The teachers more in our school, they are not be time for us. But we are trying our best now to make it possible. So we are trying in our own opinion to it. So I'm 100% prepared. I'm prepared very well for this exam. But I want to thank the Honorable for this gift that is being to us now this morning.
I attend Sierra International Academy, and I don't prepare for the Becker and I don't study well. I tell the Honorable thank